Hey folks, State of Siege is just truly something miserable at this point. I miss the original days of Siege. I miss when every update we guaranteed got a good amount of content. We got what we wanted most of the time. Every update there was something cool, new, unique. Now it just all feels bogged down and watered down. If you like this video, make sure to like and sub. And if you agree or you disagree, make sure to leave a comment. Number one reasoning as to why I believe Siege is going downhill is just general lack of seeming to care about the community. Years ago, if you remember, House was reworked. I don't know a single person who wanted House to be reworked, in all honesty. There was no reason behind it. House was fun. It wasn't balanced, but it was fun. There was no reason for it to be reworked. They reworked it and then didn't even put it into ranked. And then they took the old House and never put it into anything ever again. It was just gone. They put it into an event, but that event lasted for maybe 2 weeks, I believe. So I don't know what they were thinking. They seem to not care about what the community wants. I mean, you can go back and look at all these huge examples. I mean, Recruit rework, the original one. So originally, Recruit could pick any weapon from any of the original 5 CTUs, being SAS, GSD9, uh, GIGN, FBI, SAS. I believe I already said SAS. And then the Russians. I can't remember what the Russians are. But you get the gist. It You could pick any weapon, any secondary gadget. Like, you could even bring a ballistic shield on an attack for every single recruit. You could bring M870 on attack, which was just impossible for any other operator because no other operator could even bring it on attack. And that was like such a huge core of the game because it wasn't logical to pick recruit, but it was fun. It was enjoyable. This game is seemingly going down a route of just pure competition. You have to play this playstyle. You have to take this seriously. Sometimes people just want to have fun. And that's seemingly just going away. It's going more into that you need to pay 100% attention. Enemy spotted, eagle landed. You're taking it completely seriously. And that's okay if you want to take it seriously, but there's to a point where a video game is for fun. You don't play a video game because you hate it, you play it because you enjoy it. So once you take all that funness away from the game, all you're left with is just miserable planning. It feels more like a job than it does something for fun. And for any game, any video game, that's an issue. If your game becomes something more like a job than an actual game that you play when you just want to have fun, or you want to feel cool because you outplanned somebody or did something, like, if that's gone, then what is the point? Why would you play? I've played Siege since, God, Operation White Noise was when I really started playing the game. I mean, you can check out my account on R6 Tracker. That one's by, I believe it's 5986. This is completely off script, like, no script. I'm spouting things off. I could talk about this for an hour, which I might actually do. But it's just the game has devolved into this just mess. It's no longer tactical. It's just brain rot. You just run into the building as fast as humanly possible and get kills. That's it. Like, I've played the game for years, and it's never been this bad. The game was always pretty good up until like year 7. Once Sam Fisher came out, the next season was awful. This is just it's insane. The game has no real content anymore. It is no fun. It's so serious to a point of where it's almost unenjoyable anymore. And it's just overrun with so much tryhardiness. There is no actual fun to be had in this game. There used to be the fun of just picking an operator who was awful because they were fun. Old Tachanka, for an example. He was awful, yet people loved to play him every once in a while because he was that dumb. He was so bad that he was fun. It felt awesome to kill people with his turret because it was so bad, it was almost impossible. Like, you actually had to be awful to get killed by his turret. Now we have to go towards reason 2. Their balancing changes do not make sense. Another example. Mute. No. Sledge and Ash. They got Sledge, Ash, and Yana. All three were nerfed around season 7, I believe, or 6. I can't, or year 6, year 7, I believe. First, I believe it was Ash. She lost flashbangs. She lost her ability to flashbang people, so everyone flocked to Sledge and Yana. And their reasoning behind that was so that people would play Sledge and Yana more. So what do when people start to play Sledge and Yana? They nerf Sledge and Yana because they made sure that you would play Sledge and Yana more. You start playing Sledge and Yana more. They don't like that, so they nerf Sledge and Yana. Genius. Oh my god, that is just massive brain. We want people to play this opera. No, you're playing them too much. Let's nerf them now. What? Who does that? Like, you have to be crazy. At that point, just revert the nerf you made. That'll instantly drop their pick rate again. It's madness. They rarely like to go back on their changes. They will rather push more and more changes and just keep pushing beyond their point. They will just keep going and going with that point up until it's so far that it just doesn't even work anymore. Like Frost and Thorn when the extended barrel was introduced. Before Frost and Thorn's got their nerfs, their guns were pretty okay. I think Frost's gun did like 47 damage a shot, and Thorn's did 44. I remember that. Because of the extended barrel, they nerfed the damage of both of those guns. That's right. Because of an attachment, they nerfed the entire gun. Here's an idea. Remove the attachments. Don't nerf the gun, remove the attachment. Then it's suddenly not overpowered anymore. Like, that is the equivalent of taking a dog and getting mad at it for eating too much. Because you keep feeding it 10 bowls a day. So instead of feeding it less bowls per day, you get its teeth removed, and then you take its jaw off so they can't eat anymore. Who does that? That is stupid. That is not good reasoning. Just stop feeding the freaking dog. It's that simple. No one in their right mind does that. You have to actually be stupid. Like there is no logic behind some of their changes. And nobody wants these changes either. People get mad at them and say like, "Hey, we don't like this. Frost. We changed how frost works so that when you step into a frost mat like an idiot, you aren't screwed anymore. So you just made her next to useless. Wonderful, great job. Oh, well, she's still annoying because if you help yourself up, you can't run anymore. Whoop-de-doo. Oh, look, we had a Finka on our team. Oh, okay, I'm good now. Oh, I just revived myself and clutched the game because now Frost doesn't punish me for being an idiot and just running through a window when I know there's a Frost. Here's a weird ability that we people have. We can look downwards. Don't step into the frost mat. Snap. Oh, bye bye. If you regularly have problems with frost, either start to look down more or use a drone. It's that simple. Like, when Ubisoft balances things, they don't do enough. They don't work hard enough, it seems. They seem to lack what everyone wants or wants them to do. Solus was a problem for a huge time. So instead of nerfing her after they see that she's been being a problem, they wait like a whole year after she came out and then nerf her to death and make her useless. Like next to useless. Her camera range is much shorter. She doesn't have impacts. Uh, God, I can't even remember all the changes. Oh yeah, her gadget doesn't even work during prep phase, which that alone should have been the nerf. And they're doing a part 2. They're doing a part 2 to this nerf. I'm scared to see what they're going to do. Where are they going to remove all of her guns, make it to where she can only knife? And her ability lasts a single second? Jesus Christ. Seems to be the direction they're going in. It's nerf or nothing. The moment they see an operator that's doing good, instead of buffing every other operator and making them useful, they instead focus on nerfing that operator into uselessness and then just going to the next operator that seems to be doing too good. At some point, we're going to get to the point of where every single gun does 1 damage, has the fire rate of a pea shooter, which is like 1 shot per 24 hours. It does 1 damage, headshots never kill. Everyone has 1 health, but you can still never die. Explosives have 0 explosion radius, and you can only hit people with them in order for it to work. Everything's a softball now, and you just have bats instead of guns. Those are your weapons. And you do like 0.0005 damage a hit, so you have to hit each other 1,000 times. That's what the game's going to devolve into. They're going to take everything and make it so useless it's no longer fun. Ubisoft needs to start instead buffing the characters that need buffed rather than nerfing the operators that need nerfed. Because eventually, if you take everyone and make them better, everyone will seem so good that that other operator doesn't seem to be such an outcast. So they won't be picked that often. But everyone will have fun because everyone seems good in their own right. Imagine if Finka had her recoil removal again and had her ADS speed increased. Doc could stim anybody on the map. He had like a little iPad they just tapped instead of having to dock stim people himself. What if Vigil could turn completely invisible? Just Go think out there. You have a test server. You can see what works and doesn't. You don't try it though. You just rush out these updates that don't seem to do anything. And it's like, why? You can buff Flores 1,000 times, but Flores doesn't seem that great right now. He doesn't serve much use. So instead of just giving him these teeny tiny buffs, buff him a lot. Give him 6 drones, give him 8. Make it to where his gadget's quieter. Make Brava have a longer range so she can stealthily hack objects. Make it to where Rooney has more gates. Make it to where Bandit has more charges. Make it to where Doc can stim more people. Rook, his armor gives double health instead of just an extra 20. Um, Blitz is a 3-speed. God, like, I could go on. Just think of, like, these insane changes that can go on. And if everybody's good, then truly nobody is. Because everyone's good in their own facet or their own right. We could take the game and push it as far as they want. But, like, they just don't. They try to stay with what's safe. And at some point, it's just going to be to the point of where we aren't doing anything. They, like, the amount of content that we've gotten has dropped off so severely that this season was comparable to Operation Health, but like a reverse version, because it actually broke the game. I mean, console players for the longest time have had the freaking Dead Zone glitch, which got patched like yesterday or 2 days ago. And I don't even know if it's really fixed because they've said they've fixed it twice. Ubisoft doesn't seem to fix their bugs, they don't seem to fix their content, and they don't seem to like buff or change anything in a meaningful enough way, or when they do, they just nerf it to the point of where it's completely useless and there's no point in using it anymore. Why play the game if everything is useless? You constantly see your favorite character get nerfed to the point of where they aren't even relevant anymore. They aren't even picked anymore. Solus is picked like every 20 games. Nobody picks her. She is a high utility gadget. That's dumb in this game anymore. Because they've taken all the gadget focus away and have focused on gunplay. Once, I know this is a controversial take, but attacker repick was the start of all of this. Once they added attacker repick, utility meta died. Utility was gone. There was no point in bringing utility because anybody would just go the character to combat that. And then on top of that, Ubisoft nerfed every heavy utility operator to death so that there is no point in bringing those utility operators anymore. Just bring whatever kills. Bring Trap Ops. Bring Cav. Bring Vigil. Bring Doc just to heal yourself and maybe your teammates. Most of the time they don't. Bring Rook just so you can be a little tankier and just obliterate everyone. And maybe bring an anti-hard breach. But half the maps anymore, you don't even need to bring an anti-hard breach on like any of the sites. They've removed that. They've removed the thinking. The preemptive planning of they're probably going to do this. Now it's, oh, we know exactly what they're going to do. Let's just change it and make it to where we can just completely screw them over. So now it's just a TDM meta because there's no point in picking a logical operator because they can just get countered. I believe I'm like the first person to ever say that, but it's harsh. Because on paper it was a great idea, but once you remove that utility, what makes the game any different than Call of Duty? With like operator abilities that just like slam the ground or you take out a minigun in your arm or something. It's stupid. So overall, the game has just it's gone downhill. It was a wonderful game, but It needs help. And Ubisoft could fix it. They could undo the damage they've done, but they just seemingly don't want to. What Ubisoft could do is instead of just focusing on the stats of every operator, oh, this operator's picked a lot, look at what the people are saying and take into account the numbers. People are saying they really dislike playing against Ash. She is a high pick rate. Okay, that's logical. Let's nerf her. Okay, Blackbeard's underpicked, doesn't do anything. He seemingly isn't fun to play against, and nobody likes playing him. Okay, let's find a way to change him. Let's rework him. Okay, Recruit isn't as fun as he used to be, and people actually enjoyed the original. So instead of reworking him and changing how he works and just making it to where he has like zero accessibility to anything, let's just give him accessibility to the entire weapon loadout. Let's do what we used to. Let's just give him everything. If they just focus on what the community wants and the numbers, you can take logic and take into the account the emotions of everyone else, compact it together, you get pretty good ideas. People don't like this, but this guy's doing really poorly. Okay, we need to change how he works. Okay, this operator's really strong. Okay, this operator's really weak. Let's make this operator stronger so that this guy doesn't seem as strong as the other one. Or let's make it to where they both seem really strong, and it's a good idea to pick both of them. Heck, it's a good idea to pick any of them because they're all strong now. But right now, we have what is the opposite, which is one operator's really strong, every other freaking operator might as well be useless. Because the meta is so defined right now and so heavy in effect because Ubisoft just isn't doing anything that it's gone just terribly. Like last season, they did wonderfully. They promised new content. They were like, yeah, recruit rework. Gonna completely change how they work. Yeah, we're gonna do amazing. Next season's gonna be great. They did next to nothing this season. The freaking recruit rework just makes them like a regular operator. Whoop-de-doo, that's not what we wanted. Here's an idea of what you guys could have done. You could have made it to where they drop ammo caches. Where you can just select ammo from the freaking ammo caches on defense. Where it refills like one of their primary gadgets and then refills all their ammo, or refills one secondary gadget and then refills all their ammo, and each one has like 2 charges. And you can preemptively fill it up at the start of the round and just like double the ammo reserves of your guns and add like a second nitro cell or something. And then on tack, you could do the exact same thing. Or you can make it like a throwable pouch that does the exact same thing instead. That could be a really good idea. Or just make it to where they flat out copy and paste the operator that they want to copy and paste, and they have half the effectiveness and half as many of the operator's main gadget. So if you pick the Thermite's exothermic charge, it's going to be comparable to the size of like smaller than a breach charge, but bigger than a hard breach, and you only get one of them. Copy Bandit, you only get 2 of them, and gosh, I don't know. You just make it to where it covers only half the wall instead of the entire, or it takes time to damage it, rather than just immediately destroying any gadget that's on it. That would be cool. Half as effective, but it's still copying the operator's ability, so you bring more utility. That would have been awesome. Instead, they picked the most cookie cutter, boring, and bland way to do it. It took them nothing to do that rework. I swear. Of course, this rework isn't the worst, but like it didn't really do anything. Nobody hardly plays any of those recruits. They're picked a little bit more often just because they're new. But I assure you, within like a month or two, they'll just disappear. And I highly doubt Ubisoft's gonna buff them or really do anything to combat it. I mean, gosh, it just seems illogical. It seems just stupid. Their changes are just not thinking about anything other than we can save some cash here. Like hopefully by in the next season or so, or the next year or so, it'll get better, but I highly doubt it at this point because it's been going through this endless spiral of misery for the past 3 years. Last season they did wonderfully. They did great. And then this freaking season they take every major change and push it to the next. Because Ubisoft seemingly, okay, I know this sounds a bit like a conspiracy, but I think they purposely take changes that people like, okay, and will push it towards the end of the year to artificially inflate their numbers. They take everything that was interesting about the two middle seasons and either push it to year 10 because they don't have enough interesting stuff, or they push it to the year end of the year of the current year and just shove and compact everything into season 4. Because that has been happening for the past couple of years, where they just seemingly delay all the content to like the end of the year, and it's kind of stupid because, like, for example, the Shield rework. Year 9 or Year 8, Season 3 was when we were supposed to get the original Shield rework. It took them till Year 8, Season 4, or no. Yeah, Year 8, Season 3 was when the original Shield rework was supposed to come out. Then, for no reason at all, it took them till Year 8, Season 4 for it to be released. Why? They showed us in E3, or not E3, in like the pre-release of for that whole year that it was like halfway finished. So you're telling me that they just sat on it for like half a year and did nothing with it? You kidding me? How does it take it that long? It was almost complete. There was few things that needed to be finished. They had the knockback thing in effect. They had the freeload mechanic working. They had the reload behind the shield thing working. It just had a few missing animations. They had the running thing, or they didn't have the running thing yet, but that wasn't even announced. Like, what? They had basically everything ready. They even showed off jumping through a barricade at full health. So what were they working on? I'm sure that it didn't take them like extra 3 months to freaking finish like 2 animations that weren't right. Because when they released the TTS, that's all there was. There was like 2 animations that didn't work correctly. That was it. It was basically complete, but they just decided, nah. So it's seeming like they're purposely pushing back content to the end of the year, starving us of content, and then just giving it to us all in a single season just so that they can artificially pump up their numbers for a while and then do the same thing the next year. And it's starting to kill Siege because I'm losing interest in the game. My buddies are, and a lot of people are moaning and complaining about it. And rightfully so. You don't take all of the fun stuff out of the game and delay it later just because that'll get them back. They'll come crawling right back because we took everything that they wanted and shoved it right till the end of the year. Woo! Ain't that fun? Reason number two, their maps. When Ubisoft reworks a map, instead of taking the same feeling of the map or the idea of the map and then just modifying it a bit, they just completely throw around the rooms, make it look like a map that was designed for a video game. Old maps in Siege used to feel like an actual building you would walk into. You know, you'd see some rooms, and then you'd get like a little hallway, and then, there'd maybe be a room there. Okay, that makes sense. Yep, that room's got a window. Yep, makes sense. Now we've got windows we lead to doors, which we lead to another room, which leads to another room connected by a hallway, and then you have to go down the hallway to reach another hallway, which leads to a second hallway, which leads to the fifth hallway, with a hatch that goes to the roof, which no one uses because it's in the middle of fricking nowhere. Huh? They took the logical movement and idea of the map and just chuck it away in the sake of competitiveness. Some maps were really fun to play because there was a sense of you can think and do things correctly because everything was logical. It worked out in your head. And the number three is definitely going to be cheaters. Come on, Yubi. I don't think there's a single other game that's having this amount of cheaters other than like the CODs from like 2020 or 2010. Okay? Like 2010 through like 2015. Siege is having a huge hacker crisis right now. On PC, like you can play a single game and there will be like 3 cheaters in that game with you. And then you play the next one, there will at least be one. Almost every single game you play, there will be a cheater in every ranked game. So there's no point in playing ranked on PC this season. Xbox, everyone just uses Mousetrap. Or everyone just uses M&K. Or a strike pack that reduces recoil, or adds aim assist, or some bullcrap cheat. It's so bad now. It's almost genuinely unplayable on either platform. You play on PC, you play cheaters who can wallbang you through 6,000 walls and one tap you every single time. On console, you're playing against people who can instantly flick to your head and you literally can't do anything about it because they instantly hear you, smell you, and see you before you even notice them. And because they're on M&K, they can just instantly flick right to your head. And you can't fight that. You kind of can if you catch them off guard or if you get lucky, but most of the time it's basically instantaneous. You're just done. There are so many cheaters, there's so much just bad things just going on with Siege. And I love this game. I've loved it for a long time. I don't like the direction it's going. It's going for, we need money, give it now. We need to monetize another $5 trillion just so that we can do nothing with it. Don't worry, this is our most high-grossing game. Let's just not focus on it anymore and start sinking money into X-Defiant, which is admittedly what I think is a dog garbage game. It's awful. I hate X-Defiant. It's like Call of Duty, but everyone has 6 trillion health and you can't kill anybody. But that's just my point. They focus so many resources on other games or other things other than Siege when it's their most high-grossing game, and there's no reason for them to focus on anything else other than Siege. considering how well it does. And they just keep lessening their content, lessening how far they focus on cheaters and whatnot. And it seems like they aren't doing anything. The game used to be wonderful. Of course, it had its issues. It had bugs. It had tons of issues at launch. But my God, it was fun. It was never done before. There was never a game like Siege. There still isn't a game like Siege. And Ubisoft knows it. So they're just purposely screwing everyone over and going less and less into putting less and less work into the game, less and less money. And they're just trying to gouge us out of every dime and cent and dollar they can. And it feels like they aren't listening, like they don't care. And it's sad. I've enjoyed Siege. My buddies enjoy playing Siege. We used to. Nowadays, it feels like a chore. I hardly play the game anymore. I've been playing freaking Skyrim because I've been bored to death and just don't want to play Siege anymore. And you can say, oh, just get better. There's no point. It doesn't feel fun to get better because you just constantly go up against cheaters in everything. Well, folks, that's the end of this rant. Hope y'all enjoyed. Make sure to like and sub. Make sure to comment if you agree or disagree with any of my points. I'd love to see your thoughts. Peace out. And Ubisoft, if you're listening, fix your game, please. I don't want to see it die.